Hey everyone, Garage 79R. Today we're going to cut open a pretty much brand new exhaust off an A91 Supra. The car only had 700 miles on it. I did a full custom exhaust on it and he doesn't want the old one, so we're going to hack it open. So I already cut the pipes off of it to make it easier to handle while I'm filming. I took some preliminary measurements and it's interesting. The pipes themselves are really goofy, 2 3/4, or I think it's 70 mil equivalent metric tubing. The biggest problem with them is they have a lot of goofy flat spots going on for extra clearance, because I guess they don't want the exhaust to rattle if you send it off a cliff. And on the car that I built the exhaust on, I did a full 3.5 inch from the cat back. But the Supra exhausts are valved. So they got this electronic valve actuator on here. Obviously the motor's not on this, it's on the new exhaust. And when you put it in swart mode, it opens up the bypass and it changes, like the throttle mapping, changes the ignition timing, so it gives a little more pops and burbles and whatnot, but also opens up the exhaust. I want to see how free-flowing or not free-flowing the factory muffler is. Here's the front resonator. So what they did coming off the cat is 80 mil, I think. It's just over 3 inches. I'm pretty sure it's 80 mil. And it goes to oval tubing, goes into here, then it splits up and then runs the twin crushed pipes to the muffler. So this is just straight through. I mean, I don't know if it's really portraying the camera, but it's just a straight through. It's got some perforations towards the end here. Not a whole lot going on with this, so we're not going to even bother. Since you can see right through, we're not going to cut this open. So, what I plan to do, I'm just going to cut open the top of this muffler and see if we can see what's going inside without getting too crazy. It's interesting. Both of those pipes, the twin pipes, are 2 3/4, but this expands to 3 inch right here. This stays with 2 3/4, which is very interesting. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they thought maybe they're going to go to a 3 inch mid pipe. I don't know, but that's just the way it is. So we'll get the cutoff wheel and start hacking this thing up. All right, very interesting. That's your factory A91 muffler. The A90 has a similar looking muffler. I would assume overall it's probably the same, but I can't say that for absolute sure. So, what we got here? I'm trying to remember, what side was the bypass side? I think this was the yeah. Okay. So, here's your bypass side, which basically went straight through. I'll pull this out, should see. Okay. I'm going to take some pictures after this. I don't want to completely skew this. But that goes all the way through. There is a handful of perforations right here, right in the middle of this pipe, but not much. So that's your bypass. So you're essentially, your bypass is more or less straight 2 3/4, maybe 3 inch. I don't have my dial calipers here. I took them home. That's 3 inch. Okay. So your bypass is straight 3 inch. It sees a little bit of expansion here into this packing. There's also a port here. Actually, where's my light? You see that port? There's a little port here. So they're using this as a bit of a Helmholtz resonator. So that's on the bypass side. On the muffler side, okay. On the muffler side, it has a hard bend, goes right in here. There's no noticeable holes in this chamber at all. So it goes into here, goes through this expansion chamber. Now both of these plates, these dividers, have perforations in the walls. So it allows the sound to expand and do things. This goes through and reduces down to about a 2 inch pipe that feeds this chamber. Again, it's acting kind of like a Helmholtz chamber. Some sound is reflected back in this chamber. There's perforations here. There's a port here. Okay, so the sound comes back through, and then it can feed through here. So actually the muffler side's really not that bad. It's relatively free-flowing. Because it basically allows it to expand in here, and some goes through into this, and some can go right out the tailpipe. This is actually not that bad. I'll take the camera and I'll do a close-up flyover of it. But it's actually surprisingly well built. I like it. I'm impressed by it. It's also nice to cut open one that's not like fully suited up, so it's just nice to look at. So really the factory muffler is not that bad. It's just those pipes that are with all the crimps and crazy stuff it's got going on. But that's interesting. I'm impressed. But usually the German stuff is usually pretty well built. Because usually what I found, I've been doing exhaust work for over 30 years, but professionally for about 20. And generally what I found, the German stuff is always pretty well built. And my view of it is because they got to deal with the Autobahn. These cars got to sit at, close to max output or at max output for, miles. So usually their stuff is pretty overbuilt, but also pretty free-flowing for the most part for the given power output. So this is impressive. It's really well done. It's a shame to cut open such a nice new muffler, but there's not much of a market for, stock exhaust, really. I'll see you guys on the next one.